The older I get, the more I've come to understand one incontrovertible truth. In this life, most people don't know what the f they're doing. Hi, I'm Scott, and I'm a realtor, which is a profession in which I actually do know what I'm doing. Now, finally. Actually, that's not accurate. I've now finally given myself permission to admit to myself that I know what I'm doing.
I don't understand.
We'll get back to that. At first blush, the fact that no one knows what they're doing, it sounds like bad news. I know. Like billionaires, politicians, billionaires who think they're politicians, they're all hacks out here just winging it. We are so But actually, this idea that the whole world is walking around with no confidence whatsoever, that's fantastic news, because it means that the next time you walk up to somebody and you're feeling unsure of yourself, or maybe a little scared, the chances are really good that they're feeling exactly the same way. And then the game is on. And the winner is the first person to, one, realize that you're both terrified, and two, make a concerted effort to assuage the fear in the heart of the other. You want to feel all right? Make someone else feel all right. You want confidence? Offer confidence. You want love? Give love. I know all the self-help books say you gotta love yourself first. You gotta put on your own oxygen mask before you can help anyone else. And that's true, but it's only half the story. The reason to love yourself first is so that you can be well enough to love someone else without, and this is the part that's always forgotten, without the expectation that you'll get anything in return. And this? This catch-22, this is something I think about all the time. Because in order to get anything done, you gotta focus on the future. You gotta set ambitious goals that you have a burning desire in your heart to achieve. But you can't have any attachment to what you want at all. If you love something, let it go. The best way to find a relationship is to stop looking for one. So to sum up, if you don't want it passionately, you won't get it. But if you want it too much, you won't get it. Okay, we are so but I promise I can chart a course through. Let's say you set a goal to be a millionaire and you're currently only a 100-aire. That gulf between where you are and where you want to be creates a cognitive dissonance, a disconnect in your brain. False. Error. And you start going all Holden Caulfield on yourself. You're a phony. You're a fraud. And weirdly, the solution that I've heard most often to this dilemma is you gotta fake it till you make it, which I will never understand. You've got no confidence. You feel like an imposter. So to combat that feeling, you become more of an imposter? Huh? What? What if, and just go with me here, what if instead of leaning into a fiction that makes you feel like a big, dumb fakety fake, you leaned into, and I'm just spitballing here, reality. You have goals. Great. Write them down. Nothing fake about that. Put them on paper where you can see them so you know they exist in the real world. Then, and this comes from the 12-week year, which I've been reading with a group of other realtors in my office, track your progress regularly. Be honest and give yourself a score week by week. Of course, here be dragons, right? There are going to be obstacles along the way, the most common of which are your own damn habits, which got you into this mess in the first place. So you might want to look at giving up or replacing a few of those. I made a video about that not too long ago. But the main thing is you've got your goals. You wrote them down. You're looking at them. You're keeping score. You're navigating the stumbling blocks. And none of that is fake or phony in the least. The last little bit, though, is the toughest, and it's where the specter of the imposter rears its ugly head. You have to become a person who reaches their goals. I'm not saying you gotta remember to do the work or you gotta embrace the hustle, and I'm definitely not saying work hard, play hard. That's gross. I'm saying if your sense of self, your ego, is malleable, and it is, then you have to become the sort of person who reaches their goals. That just has to be who you are. In reality, without faking it, it has to be your identity. You are a goal crusher. That's who you are. The manager at my office at Sotheby's, he has this thing he says, you're always only committed to one of two things. It's either your goals or your story. Most people's story is just a list of excuses why they can't reach their goals. I might have some personal experience with that. So what I'm saying is make your goals your story. And for that, allow me to suggest Shakespeare, who knew more about the nature of story than almost anyone. There's a quote from Hamlet where he's talking about acting, which he defines as holding a mirror up to nature, but I'm going to say it works just as well for holding a mirror up to your goals. He said, when you're going after what you want, use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. That's how you get at the balance between the pursuit of an objective and non-attachment to the outcome. Use all gently. Acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. It's possible, though, that I'm the worst person to offer any perspective on this because I had relationship goals when I was a teenager, and I didn't meet my wife until I was well into my 40s. But the way I did it was by challenging the notion of who I thought I was. Gently, as the bard said, with smoothness. I used to always ask myself, how do I find the woman of my dreams? But one night, in the midst of a deep bout of loneliness, I wrote this down in my journal instead. How do I become the man that the woman of my dreams would want to be with? 2 months later, she showed up. And I guess that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. Just by asking the question, by writing it down, I gave myself permission to change, inspiring the confidence that I could change. And it made all the difference. I'll see you in the next one.